this feeling for Rotherham United.
What's got round the back, and Richard Wood has done it again. It's done. It's Georgie Kelly.
Do me a favour, drop me off in Rotherham.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to New York Talk. This is the Rotherham United podcast. Thank you all for joining us tonight, and we have a preview show. It's looking ahead to Stockport County coming to New York Stadium on Saturday afternoon. A tough game, very, very tough game, and we'll pick out the good bits of injury news, and obviously there's a little bit of just not quite perfect, but it's better than it was, and we'll pick up anything else we can find that's slightly Rotherham United related or not. Mick's back with us. How you doing, Mick?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. I'm feeling a bit left out, if I'm honest. Sat here in a Rotherham shirt at my age, I should really know better. Well and truly let inside down.
I know.
Yeah. Sorry, Mick. And John's back. How you doing, John?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you.
Good to have you with us. If anybody wants to, first of all, put in the comment any questions you want us to go through kind of later on, let us know. Like I said, it's not going to take us an hour to kind of preview this game. So any questions, if you want to ask Mick any questions about chocolate or anything like that, let us know. But in the comments, Terry's with us, as is John. Chris Page is with us. John S is with us. As Matt Hampshire said, our performances weren't all that bad. Is he watching the same game or select minutes? Chris Tether, Steve Grundy, Andrew Bowler, Jimmy Wilkes, Richard Tobias is with us. Rags to Richards is with us from Barossa Valley. Paula Rhodes says, "Hey up, nice to see the team photo today. A bit worried when Benson started running." Yeah, fair. Yeah, I don't know where to start with this one, John. It's an interesting game. We're kind of that stage of the season, really, where we don't want to judge, really, because we're only such a short space of time in. But on paper, this should be one of the toughest games we've had so far this season, I would expect.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got to say, watching Rotherham United, it should come with a government health warning. Because it's less than 2 weeks I sat here with you lads, and we're just purring over a performance against Exeter. We're purring over Thomas Holmes and how good that were. And then I'm thinking we've got a clear week in front of us. They're going to be bouncing on Monday morning. Obviously, we'd lost Hall and Aketi in the game, so we didn't know how bad they were. But then Monday morning, it broke that Holmes has done his ICL, not ACL, ICL. So that's even more freak. So that were a bit of a downer. And then as week went on, we had a bit better news on Spence, Coyote, and Benson might be rejoining squad. And there were better news on Denzel Hall and Aketi. They were not quite as bad as what they thought. So then, obviously, what we need, and we still need, we want to back a performance up with another one. So we go into that Wimbledon game, and I was really confident we could win that game. And hindsight, I still think we should have won it. Good performance first half. We get in front, and then we have that gilt-edged chance to make it 2-0. And for me, then game's done. It's more or less done. You're going in at half-time 2-0 up, and then you just manage game. And then we drop back into his old ways when, we gear goal away, and then we start panicking. So, it's really disappointing. And then when you're not picking wins up away, suddenly your own form becomes even more to get a result. So it puts a bit more pressure on us on Saturday to get a result, because we want to be climbing league. I'm not worried that we're going to be fighting relegation at all. I think once we get all those players back, we could be a force to be reckoned with. As each training session goes by, I've got more confidence in our coaching staff that they will start to see results, But as you said, Stockport, I mean, they finished third last year. I think pressure's more on them to get a result than us, to be honest, because they haven't had the best of starts. The 12th, and I think they probably want to be sort of top 3 or 4. So they're probably about 4 or 5 points down on where they want to be, and I think we're 4 or 5 points down on where we want to be. So yeah, it's a big game. I've noticed they've like shipped 12 goals. That's most in division. I think from last season they've had to change the defensive structure, and apparently goalkeeper's a bit dodgy and all. So we want to be having a go at him, and that's another thing. I think we've been lacking. We don't shoot enough.
No,
we've got players that can shoot, and I don't think we shoot enough. So yeah, I'm excited for Saturday. I think atmosphere will be good. They'll sell their contingent, and it'll be a good atmosphere. And we've had his home form's good, so why not?
Yeah, absolutely. I have done a scouting report with the Stockport fan. That's out tomorrow morning. It'll also be out as an audio only podcast as well. So if you are audio only listener, you can just get it through normal platform that way. But they sound like they're having the similar problems to us, Mick, this season, where they can't put 90 minutes together. Having said that, they did put Steve from the Scarf Pagora War last night, and he said they finally put 90 minutes together last week against Cardiff, but considered a 96th minute equaliser to take the 3 points away. So it seems like we're not the only ones that are having these problems of not being able to string kind of 90 minutes together. It's not unique to Rotherham United, it's by the sounds of it. And they're a pretty established team as well.
Of course it is. Of course it's unique to Rotherham United. I mean, what are you talking about? We just crap. We're garbage. Some of it. And then we're here for the rest now. I mean, who would have thought, beginning of the season, that a new team would take a while to gel? I mean, it's just unusual, isn't it? It's not something that I'd come across before in the 50-odd years I've been watching football. So, yeah, I mean, they're a tough side. They were a tough side last season. They were a tough side when they were in League Two and we played them in Cup. You know, they're a tough, well-supported side, and it's going to be a difficult game. But if we bring our A game, we'll beat them, I think. I'm confident because we're good enough. We're good enough at times. And that's the problem, isn't it? That is the problem. It has been the problem all season. So hopefully, we can put in our better 45 minutes is better than their better 45 minutes on Saturday, and we'll get that result. We'll have to wait and see, won't we? But it's positive. There are some positive vibes coming out in terms of injuries.
Yeah,
finally.
Yeah. Touch on that. We will touch on that.
So, but yeah, it's going to be tough for this one, definitely.
Yeah, it is absolutely. Just on us, John. After how long does it become a problem where you can't put 90 minutes together? I agree. We're only 6 games in, or you can count cup games, but most of them aren't competitive. When do you think if it gets to December and you're still not doing it, is that or is it kind of sooner than that you kind of question things a little?
Yeah, I think it's sooner than that. I always like to go 12 games. If it's a new squad or it's an established squad, I still like to go 12 games, and then you can start. I think we're already starting to see patterns of play, and there'll be players that come off bench that can fit into what Amshaw's trying to do now. I think we are seeing that. We're seeing signs of the press being better. Dangor, I think there's certain players in that team now. I believe that it's their shirt to lose, and Dangor's one of them. McWilliams is another. Coletta's another. I mean, Ugle, we've got to go with Ugle at the minute because we've no other options. And there are a couple of other positions. I mean, obviously, again, Cam Dawson, he's there to stay for me. There's nothing going to challenge him. He's not done out wrong for me as yet. I know people say, well, he don't command his box. And like I said, Victor Johansson didn't command his box for me. He was a great keeper, don't get me wrong, but he weren't one of these keepers that come out and caught everything. And, so he's done enough for me to do away with that argument that deserves a chance. I don't think that's right, what people are saying on that. So, yeah, I mean, as I say, each training session that goes by, and we've got 1 or 2 weeks when we've got full weeks.
Yeah.
Like we said back in summer, it's a young coaching team. They're not used to working as a team yet. They're finding out about each other. I sometimes think, and it's really difficult, because just after a game, your emotions are raw. And I'm sure I sometimes question, is he too invested? Because he's a fan, first and foremost, and his dad is a bigger fan. And he's got to answer to his dad eating Yorkshire puddings on a Sunday, maybe. And, you sometimes wonder, I'd like somebody like a John Breckin just to have a word in his ear, because, that after-match interview at Wimbledon, he almost let himself down because he was that frustrated, like we all were, because it's another game. Doncaster were another game. Donny, they've done well, Donny, but I didn't see out in Donny that frightened me. And I certainly didn't see out in Wimbledon that frightened me. And we're only 60% right at minute. So I think when we're sort of 90% right, we'll brush these sides aside, I think, personally.
Yeah. If anybody's having a down day, speak to John, because John's making me feel better about Rotherham United already.
Listen, I've got a cap and gown in Rotherham United. And you know what I mean? I've seen the dark days.
Yeah.
And there's lots to be enthusiastic about. I mean, I was laughing to myself today, and I was thinking about Wednesday's situation. Yeah. And I think Chansiri is a Miller. But I also think Tony Stewart's a Chuffy Wednesday fan.
Yeah, exactly.
It's strange, isn't it? You could not make it any worse for Wednesdays. It just, and it goes on and on. You listen to Radio Sheffield, and the poor buggers keep phoning up, and they're all saying the same thing, and it don't get any better. It don't come out with no comments. And look at us as a club. I mean, we've got everything to smile about, haven't we? Really?
Yeah. I agree.
It's crazy. I mean, supporters, it's all about opinions, but the kind of supporters what I don't like is what I call the wind blowers. And whichever direction that wind's blowing, they blow with it.
Yeah.
And it's really unfair. It's really unfair. 1 minute, oh, we're great, we're going to win league. And that next minute, I'm sure out, get him out, we're rubbish. It's a relegation battle. I mean, you can't get too carried away with a win, and you can't get too disappointed with a defeat.
Exactly. Although we do get very excited when we win.
We do.
We're not used to it.
Exactly. Kenneth brings up a good point, Mick. Does the team ever put 90 minutes together? And the short answer to that is basically no. You could probably count on one hand how many times Rotherham United have put in a fantastic 90-minute performance. Yeah. It's about, somebody else put the comment, I don't know where it is, but it's about managing the times of the game when you aren't in control. And most importantly, there you go, Phil, it's very difficult to dominate 90 minutes, how you manage the times when you're under pressure. That's a big part of it, Mick. But the bigger part of it is something John alluded to earlier. You've got to take your chances. And that's what's let us down. If we score a second goal against Wimbledon, we win that. We win the game. If we get another goal against Port Vale on an open day, which we should have done, we win the game comfortably without it being difficult. If we take a chance against Wigan, we win that game. And you could add other games into that. Barnsley in the cup as well. Yeah. So we're not playing badly, but the most important thing in football is to put the ball in the back of the net, and that is the problem at the minute. We're just not doing that.
No, we're not, and you could argue that we're not really creating enough chances either, because every team will go through a phase where they miss chances, and so long as you're creating them, you will score the goals. Yeah. That's just football. So I think for me, the argument is more that we're not really creating enough at the moment, and we haven't got that creative spark in midfield. We haven't got it. Much as Joe Powell, he's a classy midfielder. He's not really creating those opportunities at the moment. His final deliveries let him down quite a lot this season, and there's nobody else to pick up that mantle if he's misfiring. So it will come. It will come. There are players within that squad that are capable of doing it. Martha's back now, so he's another one that's capable of not only creating the chances but finishing them as well. I think Coletta will come good. Denzel Hall will come good. There are the players there that are capable of doing it, but it's not happened so far. But you're absolutely right. When those chances do present themselves, you've got to take them, haven't you? And we're not.
We don't work the goalkeeper enough. I've not seen a goalkeeper come to New York or any away game where we've really worked keeper. And like I said earlier, have a shot. If it goes flying up top, it don't matter. Just have a go. You're not going to score if you don't have a go. And I'd like to see, a bit more confidence in that. We have got the players who can shoot. And just touching on that 90 minutes, I think another factor in that is we've not had the players on the bench to change the game.
I agree.
As we get players coming back, if you've got some big hitters sat on bench, it not only makes them on field play a bit harder because they know their place is in doubt, but when them players do come on, they can have a positive effect on the game. And sometimes after an hour, when games starting to just go a bit flat, you make 3 or 4 changes and you suddenly get a new burst of energy, then your other 45 minutes can become good. And I don't think Amshaw, and he's already said, he's never been in a position where he can pick his best 11 yet, because we've had that many issues to deal with. I mean, Nombe, he'd get in any League One side. That were a huge loss for us. At Wimbledon, Spence obviously came back, and I thought he did well. Something I did notice, he were in that box to have that shot that just squirmed wide. And you've got to give him credit for being there. I'd like to think Joe Powell could get there, but like Mick said, he don't. He might not be that kind of player. And Spence might be the one who can link up better with Hugill to provide a bit of firepower. I think he got about 10 goals for Barrow in League Two last season. So he might have got, an eye for a goal. We need, while we can get these strikers back, somebody's got to step up and provide a bit of firepower somewhere. Hugill is not an out-and-out goal scorer. I think with Hugill, you've got to take away the fact that he's going to fall down. So don't give him the ball in the air. Give it him on the floor. Then he's got no to fall down for. And he's very good on the floor, Hugill. He is a very good footballer. Like we said at the beginning of the season, keep him between sticks, get plenty of entries into the box, and I think we'll see a bit more, keeper being worked more.
Yeah, I agree. Phil says the trouble is, Mick, when will they come good? And that's always the question, isn't it? And I've had a chat with somebody else online today about the patience of Tony Stewart and everything else that comes along with it. Is he going to be patient? If it does get to October, November time and things still aren't clicking and they haven't come good, is Tony Stewart the kind of guy to relax, or is he changed his tune from Alan Stubbs, Matt Taylor times when he pulled the trigger relatively early? I know we're looking ahead in the future, and I said we wouldn't do this at the start of the season, but we are where we are.
He better have one, yeah. He better have had a change of mind, a change of heart, a change of behaviour. Because to answer Phil's question, when will they come good? I don't know when they'll come good. I mean, everybody knows that, does it? However, you've got to look at what we all talked about, what the manager talked about at the start of this season. We have got to rebuild from the ground up, from the absolute ground up, after what's been done to this football club by previous management regimes, good and bad. So what are we expecting from this season? what are we expecting? Because we're 7-8 games in, whatever it is, I don't know. But the season is 46 games long, and anybody, and don't laugh at this, Matt, anybody that was tipping promotion at the end of this season has got to take a bit of a look at themselves.
Do you remember what you predicted in pre-season predictions?
No, but seriously,
second.
yeah, I mean, it weren't exactly very serious, that, were it?
Okay.
But we've got to take a look at ourselves, because that's not what this season is about. It can't possibly be about that after what we've endured for the last 3 years. So if they come good, which I'm sure they will, and I'm 100% with John on this, we will not be in a relegation battle this season. I will be absolutely gobsmacked if we're anywhere near that.
I mean,
we've got to settle. We've got to settle and get this squad and get this management team up and running. And if that takes all season, It's got to be. And the chairman has got to sit on his hands. It's the difference already this season between this and last, for me, is huge, because almost from day one, but certainly now we're getting established in the season, you can see a plan, you can see a way that we're trying to play, you can see exactly what the manager's trying to do. Okay, this time last season and for the bulk of the season, we couldn't see anything, and there was never any improvement. I still feel that there has been improvement. I know people criticise that and say there hasn't been, but there has. There quite clearly has, and that continues. You've got to give him the opportunity and give this management team the opportunity to pull it together, and it may well take a full season. It may take more, but you've got to stick with it. We've got to stick with it. That's my view anyway.
I think supporters have got to ask themselves, like Mick said, have a good look in the mirror and think, would I prefer boom and bust under Evans, or would I prefer a young management team that are trying to implement, things that are exciting, that, we're going to see when it comes together, we're going to see exciting football. And if you ask yourself, really, if we did happen to go up this season, that Championship's a bloody hard league. Like Mick said, we got battered to death away from home. It was embarrassing. We were going into games not to lose, not to win games, just to try and stay in games. And dear, there's always been that split for me with Rotherham. There'll be some that say, do I want to see a side in bottom four at Championship struggling, or do I want to see a side in top half a League One, scoring goals? And I mean, I'd probably say I want to see a side at Championship, because I do enjoy the stadiums, I do enjoy better quality teams. But I think this season, it's not end of world if we don't go up. It hurts me more than anything, but it's not the end of the world. If we could finish mid-table, we'll be a different animal next year under Amshaw. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go through some of the comments, because I think similar things. Nathan Clark, can't believe this even discussion. We've signed good young players. 11 players have been injured so far this season. Phil I was advocating for a change. No. Says, why is Hammy being given less time from the Twitter fans than Paul Warne got? Yep, different world. You are?
That's Twitter for you.
It's Twitter for you. Nathan Clark thinks when the squad is injury-free mostly, it's got the potential to start pumping teams, stop the panicking. Jimmy Wilkinson, there is a squad in that group to be up there for me. Just needs to be playing consistently. Kelly Fobbs, only 5 points of 8. That's the kind of stage of season. I just want to say, I'm not saying that we should get rid of Hampshire, by the way. I would just putting the point out there. I completely back everything you two have said there. I said the same to Gab Sutton, where if whatever happens, stick with Matt Hampshire at this point, at this stage. And I don't see what you gain, but we're going to things we've already covered, I suppose. Matt Miller says, the problem is, though, mate, the club has been badly scarred by the past 3 seasons, particularly Evans' era. There are deep wounds to heal, and they take the longest to do so, John. I mean, that is something that has... These last 3 years have been really rough. I'll go through some stats that Ian Bradley put about away form, particularly in a minute, but it's been rough these last 3 years, and we're kind of desperate for some positivity. And, 3 wins in a row, that'd do the world good for our mentality. But it is difficult to be patient. But we just got to do it, haven't we?
Like I said, if you could get back-to-back results, even if that were a win and a draw, that'd have a massive effect on the squad. But just, hinting on what he said about what's gone on previous. I mean, you look under Taylor, it were a disaster. He kept us in division, but I don't think he did. I think Paul Warren's points at the beginning of the season kept us in division. I think Taylor just got worse as he went along. He spent loads of money on old Crocs that give you absolutely nothing. And now, we're looking at young players, exciting prospects that are going to fetch good money for club. So sustainability at club under Amshaw is already better in just a short space of time with what he's done. For me, it's all positive. And even if we don't go up, it's still positive for me. Yeah. And I think fans they've just got to show a bit of realism. And there's nobody worse than me wanting promotion or whatever. But, just have a think about it. We've got a chance here to build something. And we've had great times in the last 15 years, and we can have them times again. But like Mick said, you've got to put foundations in. You don't build an house on dodgy foundations because it'll fall down. So you've got to get foundations right. I mean, we hadn't had a defence and we hadn't had an attack yet. So, if you look at aspects of a football team, your defence and your attack's your main 2 areas. You get other players to fill in midfield. We haven't had either yet. So when we do, surely we're going to be rocking and rolling.
You'd hope so. You'd hope so, absolutely. I'll never forgive Taylor for selling Wiles to fund Nombe. We obviously love Nombe. That wasn't good. Let's touch on injury news before we go to other stuff. I just want to say before we move on, I spoke to, again, as I mentioned, the Stockport County podcast. And as they were talking about their squad, they were listing all these players that got injured straight away. So there's clearly an issue in football at the minute. I know everybody likes to blame Roundwood, and we'll talk about the thing that Matt, I'm sure, mentioned about they did an investigation and found nothing. There is an issue in football at the minute where lots of clubs are getting lots of injuries. It isn't Rotherham United specific, this injury crisis. It really, really is. And that sounds like I'm kind of defending Matt, I'm sure, for the sake of defending him, but there really is a big issue in football at the minute in terms of injuries. But some people don't know that, do they? But Mick, there is really good injury news for this weekend. Before 3 players get injured during the game, Denzel Hall should be available. Lenny Agbear should be available, and Sean McWilliams should be available. I mean, that's great news. That ticks every box other than striking situation. That's perfect. We've got a centre half, a right back, and a midfielder. All should be back. And if they can't start, they'll go on bench, which again gives us great options off the bench. That's fantastic news for a game like this.
Yeah, it is. It is. I was going to say the biggest news in that is Lenny, but it is big news. It's great to get him back, but that feels like I'm doing Denzel Hall and Sean McWilliams down there because they're just as important to the squad. So, it's good. It's good. Who'd have thought that these injuries don't last forever, do they? So, positive news, and it's good to have some positive news coming out. Whether any of them are fit enough to start, like you said, is I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I would doubt that he would risk that, but Lenny might have to, given the situation that we've got in that back line. So who knows? But yeah, other teams do tend to have injuries. Apparently, I have heard that myself. I can't believe it. I think it's just a bit of fake news, but apparently so.
I mean, when you think about modern game now, eye pressing, everything about the game now involves running and running hard. And if you run hard, you're going to get injuries. There's more games now. So, right throughout the leagues, players are being put under more and more strain. A little story for you. Back when Ronnie Moore, what manager, first time round, he were wanting to get team fit, and I were doing little bits down at Rotherham then, and I said, well, I've got a kid who can get him fit for you if you want, like. So my mate Peter Elliott, the runner at the time,
Yeah.
so I said, I could get Pete down, he'll get him fit. So he said, oh, brilliant, like. So anyway, Pete went down when they used to train down at Alton Lodge there, and he had 3 or 4 sessions with him, ran him to death. Probably somewhat similar to what what lads doing now, like. And after 3 or 4 sessions, Ronnie pulled plug on it. He said, "Oh no," he says, "You're gonna kill them. They're gonna be injured." So, Pete had to back off, like. And it's funny, isn't it? How things change around, but the modern game now, they're athletes. I mean, you see when it's funny because when you're watching a game from stands, you see the players, and you think, he looks a unit. He looks a man. But when you see them up close and personal, there's note on them. They're like lats. They're like babies. I know I'm getting older, but it's like looking at a baby, and you think he actually looks a mester on field. But I'd fancy my sense against him strength-wise because they don't look out on him. It's all the game. It's all about pace, and and I think that's why there's so many injuries now.
Yeah, I completely get, and the amount of football when they're being asked to play as well. But on top of that is, well, the EFL are talking about making next season start earlier, so they have less midweek games, so there's less congestion during the season. Is the idea? Obviously, it means more weekend games, so more Sky games on telly, which is just a byproduct, obviously. Of that. Harry says, I'm late. Have I missed all the important chocolate chat, or is that still to come? It's probably still to come, Harry. I haven't had any chocolate chat just yet. I'm sure we'll get down there. Bill says they'll have to be careful and not put them in too early, risking further injury.
Yeah.
And that's going to be something that's a balancing act, John, because that's number one. If you get Lenny back or Denzel Hall back, you've got to make sure they stay fit. But at the same time, the temptation to put Lenny back in and have a proper back three again must be really, really tempting.
Do you know what? I'm not for this back three.
Okay.
If you want to talk later on, if you want to talk tactics, we can do. But as far as Agbear goes, I mean, obviously we don't see him train, so we don't know how fit he is. But given the fact that he's been out 3 or 4 weeks, he's not going to come straight back in, surely. And why should he? Because Baptiste, for me, had a solid game. He didn't do no wrong. He looked solid. Jules is starting to get better, and we obviously hinted on Thomas Holmes when he played. He offered us that leadership, that physical presence, and you look at Zach Jules. I mean, he is a big lad, and if I were Amshaw, I'd be saying to Zach Jules, now then, Jack, I want you to be a leader here. I want you to, because he's a quiet kid. I mean, we ain't got any leaders, and the few and far between in game now. But you'd want somebody out of that squad to become a leader, and why not Jules? While we get Thomas Holmes back, saying little things to him like that, it makes him feel good, and you don't know, we'd have to see. But for me, Agbear would be on bench, and I'd go with Baptiste on Saturday. So I'll not mention tactics because I've got my theory on it. We can come back to it later if you want.
We can. Mick doesn't like that, but it's nice to have somebody else to chat formations with. We'll do that. We'll definitely do that. John S says a Bradford fan told him that they have 3 defenders and all the rest of the defenders are injured. So yeah, it's just one of those things that at the minute in football, we've got to get on with and deal with. Let's touch on Dan Gore though, Mick. He did his interview today, and he's getting better. He's done a few of these interviews, and he was really quiet to start with. Now he's obviously getting better and more comfortable in his own skin. But he has been really, really good these last 2 games, and he has become somebody I think could be that key, could be that guy who unlocks some defenses and passes. That his run for the goal last week was fantastic.
Yeah,
he obviously made that goal, and he's touching all the work I find he's staying fit so far this season. He's only missed a game because he had a kid. He's building now. It's took him a few games, but he is building into last couple of games, looking like this the guy that we thought we'd signed. I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's clearly quality football. There's no doubt about that. But he's a young lad, and it was always going to take him some time to get himself accustomed to men's football, essentially, because this is the first time he's really played consistently at this level. So it's going to take him some time, and I think he's showing his quality sitting deeper. I've said this a couple of times, haven't I? That run for the goal, like you said on Saturday, was fantastic, but he did it from deep. He started the move off and got involved halfway up the pitch and took a defender with him as well. So I think there's no doubt in his quality. I don't think we need to discuss there is a quality footballer. That there's no doubt about that. What's important for him now is his confidence and finding his place within that setup. And for me, so far, that deeper midfield role is absolutely nailing. He's absolutely nailing it. I think he looked a little bit lost when he played a little bit further forward, and I think he is. Assuming he can stay fit and assuming that he continues to develop, he's going to be a massive player for us this season. And you've got to be pleased for him, haven't you? He's a young kid. He's a Man U player. However, with the greatest respect to Dan Gore and all his colleagues that have come through that system at Man U, very few, if any, of them will end up in that first team. I mean, Man U, the way Man U are doing at the minute, they might do, but traditionally they don't, do they? So he's always going to have that in his mind, and that's going to assist his development, and it's going to help us. And he's working under a decent coach, in my opinion. So he is going to be quality. He is a quality player anyway, and he's going to do us a world of good this season, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, mate, you've got to remember that he's still a Man United player, and I'm sure has probably made him main man at minute in that deeper role, because he's so important to link play. He's getting on ball a lot more, and he probably will enjoy being that main man. But again, you touched on another thing, what we've probably overlooked. 2 of our players have just had the first child, and we've all had children, and we all know that first child, it's a hell of a shock to the system. Suddenly you've gone from 2 of you to having somebody that needs 24/7 care. You're sort of listening in at night to see if they're still breathing and all that, what goes with it. It's a big thing. And I think Powell, I'm not saying that it's just that, but Powell's performances have suffered this season. I expected Powell to really grab, and it's still early days, to grab this season by its scruff at neck, and he was going to be my standout man, and he's not at the minute. And as I said, we can come on to the team. I've got something to say on Powell, but that's another factor, that two players that are inside at the minute have had a big shock to their life. So you've got to cut him a little bit of slack there as well.
No, absolutely. Dango talked about his interview today that he's basically he's got his new baby that he doesn't see, because I assume she lives over in Manchester. He sees it maybe on a Saturday evening onto Sunday, and if we haven't got a midweek game, he gets to see an extra day middle of the week as well. So I imagine that's pretty tough for him. He's kind of playing through it. Jamie Wilkinson says he's the ratty player that we've needed. Yeah, he is, which he's allowed to do more from deeper. Yeah. Harry says he's building, which means he'll be injured when he gets out. Yeah. Watch your hamstrings. Stretch your hamstrings out properly on Saturday, please, Dango. If you're watching, please.
Yeah.
It's gonna come. Let's touch on kind of formation a little bit, John, because we are limited in what we can do in the attacking wise. Because you've got Jordan Hugill, he's your only striker. So then becomes right. How do you then change your system to fit into it? How do you think last week worked with, and kind of how we ended the Exeter game where we were able to get people closer to Hugill, weren't we? And that's obviously for me, it's going to be the way forward until more strikers are available.
Yeah, I mean, as far as team selection goes for Saturday, there's only one place up for grabs for me, and it's a massive call, and I wouldn't want to have to make it myself. So if we were to go through team, if we're going to start talking teams now, for me, the team for Saturday would be Dawson in goal. I'd go with a back four of Rafferty, Jules Baptiste, and Reece James. And then midfield would be Gore in that holding position, because that's his shirt to lose.
Yeah.
McWilliams, because that's his shirt to lose. And then I'd go with Denzel Hall on the right-hand side as an advanced sort of winger, and Coletta on the left as the advanced left-hand side winger. And then I'd go with Hugill up front. And then, this is the shock, who do you go with, Powell or Spence? And like I touched on earlier, Spence probably offers you the link up with Hugill more than Powell. I think probably McWilliams can link with Hugill better than Powell, but it's a big call for Hampshire to make, and he might go completely different. But I'm just sort of thinking that'd probably be where I'd be team selection wise on Saturday. I don't know what you think.
I could see. Well, we'll see. I think he'll stick with the back four. Although I would be happy with the back four. I think he'll stick with that. But I think that midfield three, Mick, of Gore, Spence, and McWilliams, assuming McWilliams can play, that's a really good, fully energetic midfield. There's legs all over the shop there. And like so you've got some options to link up with everybody else that comes around with it. That's interesting, exciting, and it does put question marks off Powell because he's just not. But then he's a different kind of player, isn't he? So do you say, well, he offers you something different? I don't know. It's a good one.
I don't think there's a chance of Joe Powell getting dropped. I think Denzel Hall might be too early for him to come straight back in, and I think it might be too early for McWilliams to come straight back in as well. Personally, I like the idea of Spence. I'm expecting a bit of Leif Recklington out of him, is what I'm expecting. Maybe I've set the bar a bit high there. No, there's no maybe about that. I've set the bar really high. But I see him starting with Gore and Powell, and then I think for me, I'd be looking at Coletta on the right and Martha on the left. Personally, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. It depends who's fit, doesn't it?
It's fitness, it's all fitness dependent.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny? Our people look at things differently, and that's why football's great. I mean, I don't know what you think, but Denzel Hall at this moment in time, for me, he is not a wing back. I think he can do a job on the right hand side of the midfield, but I don't think he can do both full back and wing back. I think you've got a more of a insurance policy with Rafferty playing at right back. Yeah. But I also think that's same on the other side with Reece James and Coletta. I don't think Coletta can do both jobs, where he's a wing back and a full back. So I think if Denzel Hall is fit, that's why I'd go for that, because for me that works. And if Rafferty were to push on a bit, then Denzel Hall can drop into the right sort of back slot. They can interchange in tandem, and you can get that with James on the other side, working in tandem with Coletta. That seems to work for me, and I'd probably, that's why I'd stick with that. The problem is at the minute, because we haven't got Sharif and a Tete, we ain't got a lot of options. You've got to try and get somebody to play off Ugle, and that is the key. It's going to either be Spence or McWilliams, because I don't think Joe Powell can do it.
No.
So
I think Powell's not. He's not a number 10. I think McWilliams can do that. Whether Spence it remains to be seen. But we'll have to. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting because we're now starting to get some players back, and it's giving him a bit of a choice and a bit of a headache really as to exactly how he's going to set it up. I know a lot of people don't like the 5 at the back, 5 across the back, or 3 across the back, whatever it is. I personally do. I'm a fan of it. However, you've got to have the right players in, and unfortunately, we've been trying to polish a turd almost with that back 4, because back 5, sorry, because we've just not had the players to put in there. Couple of weeks, hopefully, we'll be able to staff that line properly with some quality, because we have got some. It's just a question of when it's going to be fitting or not.
Yeah,
I mean, can you imagine if Nombe were fit now, and Sharif were fit, and a Tete were fit? I mean, that is some options to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and this is why I think, you know, you've got to remain positive. Signs are already there that Amshaw is signing the kind of players that when Warne came in, it took him a time to put a squad together. And when you think of players we had under Warne, I mean, bloody hell, you know, I forgot the names, but Ogbenny, you know, there were such good players: Crooks, Ogbenny, Barlasser, you know, real quality players. And at minute, I don't feel as though we're there with that kind of quality. But it took one time to get it. And who's to say that these players won't be as good as them in time?
A lot of them will, John. In my view, a lot of them will. And that's the difference. That's the massive difference for me this season between any of the others since Warney were here last, and probably pre that as well. The players that have been signed, albeit some of them have suffered injuries, are without exception got obvious, easily identifiable qualities, and they're all young, and they're all capable of developing into quality footballers that are going to make this football club some money. All of them.
Something I thought about as well. I'd be sitting down with Nombe now while he's injured, and I'd say, right, now, Sam, we've stuck with here that's been injured. What about giving us a year or 2 year extension now to your contract? It's not going to affect fact, but you know, come January, if he's back inside and he's firing, there's going to be somebody coming in with his I mean, is in his last year of his contract, is he? Or, I don't know.
Another year, so this one plus another year left.
This one plus another year. So we've still got a bit of time, but we don't, and I don't think it'll happen under Amshaw, but we don't want to be letting that contract run down too much, because we've done it so often in past when players have left for peanuts. We've really got to, you know, box clever. It's not easy because they hold you to ransom, you know, and they want the contracts to run down, and they don't ask for a move, and then they get a bigger signing on fee elsewhere. So they play the game. It's hard, but sometimes you've just got to ask the question. Now then, Sam, what about having a 2 year extension? You know, just something to think about, isn't it?
I think this will be very unpopular. I think Nombe will leave in January. And I think it will be the right thing for the club to do. I think his value will peak in January, assuming you don't get injured again. Because from next summer onwards, the value goes down, doesn't it? Assuming he doesn't sign that contract. So I could see Nombe leaving in January, but we'll see what happens with that. Sam says Powell played the most amount of games last season. Maybe needs rest. Matt Mill agrees. I agree with Sam. If Powell's a different form of legacy from last season when he played all the games. Yeah, possibly might be. Mad booing me for the Nombe comment. Sorry. I'll take it. Let's move on to score predictions. and then go from there. I still haven't done a table. I've got all the scores written down, but I'll do a table at some point. Again, I've outsourced my predictions because that's what I'm doing this season. It's actually more difficult. I thought it'd be easy just to ask people to get me predictions. I've got to remember to ask them, and I keep forgetting. Today, Tobias has done me a prediction. So thank you very much, Tobias. 3 easy points, according to Tobias, which it always is.
Didn't see that coming.
2-0 to Rotherham is Matt's team's prediction for this week. So thank you very much for that one, Tobias. Mick, what do you reckon?
Toughy this one. This is going to be, I think, arguably one of the toughest home games of the season. But I'm going to be positive and I'm going to stick with me 2-1. I'm going to say 2-1 Millers. I suspect we might go 1-0 down first, though. And this will be the turning point of the season. We go 1-0 down and Eds stay up.
Okay.
Eds stay up and we come back and get a victory and then we kick on from here. That's nonsense. Or
that is nonsense.
Flash, you heard it here first. Whichever.
Yeah. Delete as appropriate.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. John, what do you reckon?
Going off fact that they've shipped 12 goals, and I think they have got a bit of a soft belly at back, but it sounds right. I'm going to go 3-1 Millers.
Ooh.
Bit of champagne football thrown in and all.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm on, but there must be something.
Something good. Something definitely
good.
Race Medley's going 2-0 to the Millers. Phil says 1-1. Paramount says 2-2. Chris Taylor says 1-1, as does Harry. Terry Fimmy says 2-1 to the Millers, and Stevie Mick says 2-2.
Lots of draws in there.
Yeah, well, people are just not feeling particularly positive, are they?
Four draws.
Because of what John said, goals, the leaky defence, and ours is not the tightest, is it? To be fair,
no.
If you do pools on Saturday night next to Rotherham United,
is a pool still a thing?
I believe it is. Yeah, I believe it is.
Okay, didn't know that.
Don't hear many people winning pools these days, do you?
I think jackpot's about £4.50. That's why.
That's it. Them what days when you used to win Rivali? I bet you don't even remember that, mate.
I don't know. The name rings a bell, but there were that pools and spot the ball, weren't they?
Spot the ball, used to be on Greenland, didn't it?
Yeah.
Them what days.
Don't mention them. What about spot the ball? Yeah. Right. I am done with everything I want to talk about Rotherham. Is there anything else we want to mention before we knock this on Ed?
I don't think so. I don't want to disappoint Harry, but I've got no chocolate chat this week.
How long have we done?
Well,
we've done
5 minutes. I have noticed Mike's in the comments, and I've not annoyed Mike for a few weeks. If you want to talk car park, that I know that annoys Mike, so we've not fallen out for a few weeks.
Bowman's asking for chocolate talk.
Yeah.
If you want to think of some chocolate, I've realised I haven't done you a ref watch, which is remiss of me. Referee David Rock.
David Rock.
Sweet related. It's not football. It's not chocolate related. But
David Roth. Is his middle name Lee? Oh, Rock.
Never heard of him.
I hadn't heard of him either.
I thought he was singing in Van Halen, but that was somebody else.
That's gone over some people.
I hope he's got red and white running through him, with him being Rock rather than blue and white.
He has. He did the 3-3 against Mansfield last season. His liner let us down, didn't he, for the Mansfield's second goal, which was offside. Yeah.
What did you think at penalty at Wimbledon? That split the podcast. That John
did it.
I thought it was a pen. I thought I'd have wanted it. I'd be screaming house down for that.
I thought it was a clear and obvious dive.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, if you're getting pens for them, they'd be half a dozen a game, wouldn't they?
You'd have thought so.
I agree
again,
with that.
You do get some refs that are homers, aren't they? They give things like that to home team and went against us, like. But I was disappointed. I know we're going back. I was disappointed on reaction having gone behind. I don't think we really got at him enough, you know.
Yeah.
And it might be something we need to look at in future away games that, you know, we probably got to, when we are in front, maybe slow the game down a bit, manage it better, you know, probably look at different techniques.
It'll come, won't it?
Yeah.
It'll come as they get a little bit more confidence, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I see Mick's wanting to get on Champions League, so
No, I'm not interested.
He's not.
I'm definitely not. No.
We'll come on to this. We'll give this more airtime later, but Ian Bradley's put some stats together that over the last 4 seasons, we've won 7 away games out of 73. That's a total of 42 points out of 73. We'll give that more time that it deserves, but I just wanted to point out that the stats that Ian's put out there, that's a frightening stat. Frightening is the word. Also, we had a question from Danny who wants to know our favourite pies. Do you have a favourite pie, Mick?
Was that a serious question?
Are we a serious podcast?
Well, no. I thought it was a Mickey Tech question. Steak and ale, me, mate. I'm a steak and ale pie. I can't get
Is there a particular brand which is like your?
Nah, certainly not the ones that are sold in plastic bags at New York with burnt bottoms. No, I'm not, mate. Okay. Humble pie. As Mike put there, humble pie. I would have been eating that last season had things gone differently.
You were never going to.
No, I wouldn't.
John, do you have a favourite pie?
Savoury or sweet?
Well, there's another one.
There's another one. Savoury, it's got to be my mother's mate and tatty pie. That's a corker, that one. Sweet, I'd probably go apple pie.
Okay. The classic.
The classic.
Yeah. I like a chicken pie. What is the problem with chicken pies is you tend to get chicken and leek and chicken and stuff, whatever. I just like a chicken pie. You just don't get many of those. I like chicken and mushroom. I'm not a fan of that. Just give me a chicken pie.
Oh no, mushrooms. They ought to be banned.
I agree. I'm with you. Completely with you.
Mushrooms. Yeah.
Steve Mick does a homemade steak and kidney. My wife makes a really nice steak and kidney pie, to be fair. So yeah, I agree with that one.
There's some kids sit near me in Cop, and I mean, I watch them eat the pies, and they sort of take lid off, and then it's like a paint stripper smell that comes out of this pie. And I think, Christ almighty, that must be burning the insides apart. I don't know what kind it is. But then when you look, when they've finished, they've only ate middle, rest of it's left. You know, it's
burned.
Sometimes when I'm feeling a bit peckish, I think, bloody pastry's going to waste, do you like?
Yeah, pastry's best part. What's wrong with these people?
Unless it's burnt, though.
Well, if it's burnt, yeah.
Which it probably isn't at New York Stadium.
Yeah.
Yes. Stevie Mick says his mum's meat and tater pie was an absolute belter as well. Powermad says the chocolate advent calendar's out already. So I'm sure we'll have an advent calendar chat. I have seen a few of those already in September, which is wild. Anything else? I know we've gone nonsense, as always.
No, we're all good.
Sound. We will be back on, there'll be the scouting report is out tomorrow. So if you haven't got anything else to do tomorrow at some point, you can hear from Steve from the scarf that Bagara wore, which is a link between Rotherham and Stockport, the Bagara link. Not a good one for us. But you can hear from him about their mixed starts so far and everything else that is Stockport County related. We will then be back on Saturday evening, which will be the instant reaction, which will be... You'll keep an eye out for Kev, and the third shot you'll come win a free shirt if you predict who gets the third shot for Rotherham United. If we get 3 shots, obviously that's the clause in there. We've got to have 3 shots, which is not always as it does. And then we're back Sunday evening, which will be go on.
He's letting himself in for the right problem with that, hasn't he? And he let himself in. Kev, what are you doing, man? What's a shot? So if somebody takes a shot and goes out for a throw-in, is that a shot?
Don't start.
If they head it, is it a shot?
Yes.
You've got to be, oh, mate. Can of worms there. A right can of worms.
Just put T's and C's apply, and you can just pick whatever.
Yeah.
It's fine. Send some evening for the full review show as well. If you are watching live, make sure you've subscribed on YouTube. We're very close to 1,900 subscribers, which is pretty good. Pretty good. So if you haven't already, make sure you've subscribed. If you're watching live, give the video a thumbs up. Well, watching after, give the video a thumbs up as well. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, give us a 5-star rating, follow, whatever it allows you to do. And don't forget that the Scout Report is also available on Spotify and wherever else going forward as well. We will see everyone next time. Thank you, mate. Thank you, John. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
And as always, up the Millers.
Up the Millers.
Here comes for more. 2 for Jensen, 2 for Rotherham. Shoots! Ravel. Vicious, but brilliant! The sweetest feeling for Rotherham United.
Wood's got round the back, and Richard Wood has done it again. It's done. It's Georgie Kelly.
Do me a favor, drop me off